أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله الذي نور قلوب العارفين بنور معرفته وأثبت فؤاد أنبيائه وأوليائه بقصص الأنبياء والمرسلين وأكمل إيمان المسلمين والمؤمنين بولاية علي أمير المؤمنين عليه السلام والصلاة والسلام والتحية والإكرام على أفضل الموجودات العبد المؤيد والرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد المحمود الأحمد أعني أبا القاسم محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى روحه ونفسه وصهره ووسيه سيد الأتقياء والأسفياء مولى الموالي إمام المتقين علي بن أبي طالب عليه الصلاة والسلام وعلى أوصيائه لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين أما بعد فقد قال الله الحكيم في كتابه الكريم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنما وليكم الله ورسوله والذين آمنوا الذين يقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة وهم راكعون صدق الله العلي العظيم. First of all, I'd like to apologize that I'm not used to of speaking to a camera. I'm a public speaker, and therefore I like having audience and I like to address people, even if there are only a few. But I like to have people in front of me who I address, and I haven't been able to make it so interesting. Probably in the beginning, I was inside my house, and probably my children would sit down in front of me, and I could probably deliver. And then I had to move to my library for a better view, so I'm doing it alone, and it is not easy. I'm not a camera person. I like, if the camera is there, I don't mind. It's recording, it's doing its job, but I am a public speaker. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to deliver these lectures the way I wanted to, and they may have been very dry for you. And it is very difficult to make them interesting, and sometimes I'm doing other recordings as well, and I'm trying to do some live television shows. So probably I get caught up and get tired by the time I do your lectures. So speaking on a camera to an audience who I cannot see is not easy. So please do excuse me for not making it for very interactive. And so these are all new. We are new to these things. So we will have to learn how to make it more attractive and more interesting. But now these are final nights of the month of Ramadan. We have now finished 18 days of the month of Ramadan, and tonight it will be the 19th night of the month of Ramadan. It is the 19th night, and the night for the night of assassination of Imam Ali. So he was struck by Abdurrahman ibn Muljim. And I would like to give you a brief history of Imam Ali. The ayat I've chosen from Surah number 5, verse number 55. So 555, if you inshallah remember. Surah number 5, Surah Ma'idah, one of the last surahs, probably the second last surah to be revealed to the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it has a verse about Imam Ali alayhi salam. It has an ayat that was revealed for Imam Ali alayhi salam, and then I'll also talk about Abdurrahman ibn Muljim. Imam Ali alayhi salam and all the other Sahaba are praying nafila prayers of Dhuhr. So Dhuhr namaz the Holy Prophet, nafila is mustahab, nafila is recommended prayers. So we have wajib prayers, which are only 17 rakats, 2 for Fajr, obligatory prayers, mandatories, um, 4 for Dhuhr, 4 for Asr, 3 for Maghrib, and 4 for Isha. But then there are recommended prayers. And 8 rakats, you pray them in twos, 2, 2, 2. 8 rakats for Dhuhr. And the Holy Prophet is praying his at home, and then he would come and lead the wajib Dhuhr prayer. So it is around Zuhr time, and all the Sahaba, companions of the Holy Prophet, are praying nafila in masjid. Imam Ali is there as well, a member of the Ahlul Bayt, family of the Holy Prophet. He's praying, and a destitute, a person who is begging, comes to the masjid, and he comes and he calls onto the people praying. He says, "Oh, people who are praying, give me something in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala." So no one answers him because they're all praying. So he calls the second time, and the third time he calls and he said, "Oh Allah, be my witness. I came to your house, masjid is the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I asked the people praying to you, and no one answered my call." As soon as he says this, then Imam Ali alayhi salam points with his small finger. He was wearing a ring. And this Sa'il, the beggar or the person asking, he walked over to Imam Ali alayhi salam and he took off the ring from the hand of Imam Ali alayhi salam and he left. And the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam came, and the Sahaba noticed that this beggar came and he took off the ring, and some of them had finished and some of them had not finished the prayer, and they all started staring at Imam Ali alayhi salam, and he continued his prayers. He completed, and the Sahaba were all talking about this, and the Holy Prophet ﷺ came and he said, "Is there anyone who gave some zakat or some charity? Did anyone carry out any charity in prayer?" So everyone, even the ones who loved Imam Ali and even the ones who did not, they all said, "Yes, we all saw Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam gave something in the way of, he gave his ring to a beggar. And he did this in the prayer." So the ones who did dislike, they were thinking that the Holy Prophet is going to now tell off Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam for doing this. And they said, "Ya Rasulullah, why?" He said, "Because an ayat has come." And they all said, "Yes, we want to know what is the ayat." He said, "Innama waliyukumullahu." Indeed, verily, your wali, your Maula, your master is Allah. Indeed, your master is Allah. Innama waliyukumullahu wa rasuluhu, and his messenger. Indeed, your masters are Allah, his messenger. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا الَّذِينَ يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ وَهُمْ رَاكِعُونَ. And amongst the believers, وَالَّذِينَ, not وَالَّذِي, not one. He says وَالَّذِينَ. So after Allah and his messenger, one messenger. But for Ali ibn Abi Talib it says وَالَّذِينَ, not وَالَّذِي. وَالَّذِينَ يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ. The ones who steadfast in the prayers. وَالَّذِينَ يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ. And they give zakat. They give the poor rate. وَهُمْ رَاكِعُونَ. While they are in ruku. So a lot of the translations, they will try and make it, and they perform ruku. Well, hang on. Ruku is a part of salat. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't say the ones who pray and give zakat and do ruku. So what is ruku and other ibadat other than namaz? It is something salat. It is not a part of salat. So no, the translation is that they pray, yuqimuna salata, they steadfast in prayers, wa yutuna zakata, and they give out the poor rate, the charity. وَهُمْ رَاكِعُونَ, while they're in ruku. This wow is for hal. Hal meaning the state. It is explaining the state. Not that and they do ruku. Well, ruku is a part of salat. So a lot of the people try and intentionally leave this out and change it so they don't have to mention who gave zakat while in ruku. So the Holy Quran says, وَهُمْ رَاكِعُونَ, while they're in the state, and they give zakat while they're in the state of ruku. Now, Zamakhshari, he has a tafsir. This is his tafsir, Al-Kashaf, 4 volumes. Al-Kashaf is tafsir by Sheikh Jarullah Zamakhshari. His name was Jarullah. Jar means neighbor, but his name is Jarullah. Jarullah Zamakhshari. His tafsir is Al-Kashaf, 4 volumes. In this, under this ayat, he says, he's not a Shia scholar, he's not amongst our scholars. In history, when the different scholars came, different rulers came, and when a ruler from one sect of the Sunnis came and he said, destroy all the libraries of the other sects of the Sunnis and the Shias. And he said, okay, leave Tafsir al-Kashaf because it is the top, it is one of the best tafsir that we have from that sect. So we'll keep it. Although he didn't believe in him, but he said, we'll just keep his tafsir. So it is one of the best tafsir from this scholar. Well, this scholar wrote this tafsir, and he says, all the ulama agree that this verse is for Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. And the Sahaba have mentioned this to us, the companions of the Holy Prophet. And this is for one person, Ali alayhi salam. He says, then why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when he revealed it for one person, make the tenses plural in this ayat? So he said, Innama waliyukum Allahu wa rasuluhu. Indeed, your wali is Allah, his messenger. Walladina amanul ladina. And the ones who believe, amongst the believers. Walladhi, not walladhi, not one. He says, Walladina amanul ladina. Yuqimuna salata. And the ones who believe, and they set fast in prayers. Wayutuna zakata, and give zakat, wahum rakiun, while they are in the state of ruku. Why not he? Well, our ulama say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept this ayat open for the other 11 imams. But Jarullah Zamakhshari is not Shia, so he doesn't believe in the 12 imams. So he says, but the ayat is only for Ali. Then why did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala use plural tense? Why not singular? That indeed your wali is Allah, his messenger, and the one who gives, who amongst the believers, the one who gives, who prays and gives zakat while in ruku. Why not one? He. Why they? He says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept the ayat open. The verse is open till the day of judgment. That if anyone has the power, then become like Ali ibn Abi Talib and show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you can achieve wilayat. He says Allah was so sure that no one can ever become like Ali ibn Abi Talib. He kept the ayat open. He knew the wilayat is only for Allah, his messenger, and for Ali. And no one can ever achieve the stature of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam amongst the ummat. Not amongst Ahlul Bayt, obviously. So but even Imams alayhi salam, Ali ibn Abi Talib is great and superior, not only to the Sahaba, but also amongst the Prophets and Imams. He is the greatest after the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is the greatest. And what is the proof from the Holy Quran that he is the greatest after the Holy Prophet? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al Imran, Surah number 3, verse number 61, if I'm not mistaken, it says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, فَمَنْ حَاجَّكَ فِيهِ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَكَ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ فَقُلْ تَعَالَوْا نَدْعُ أَبْنَاءَنَا وَأَبْنَاءَكُمْ وَنِسَاءَنَا وَنِسَاءَكُمْ وَأَنفُسَنَا وَأَنفُسَكُمْ ثُمَّ نَبْتَهِلْ فَنَجْعَلْ لَعْنَةَ اللَّهِ عَلَى الْكَاذِبِينَ. And whoever still asks you for a proof after the knowledge that has come, فَمَنْ حَاجَّكَ فِيهِ مِنْ بَعْدِ مَا جَاءَكَ مِنَ الْعِلْمِ. So after the knowledge that has come, Allah has sent you the proofs, and whoever still debates with you or wants still proofs, فَمَنْ حَاجَّكَ فَقُلْ, then tell them to do mubahala for earnest prayers we all come together and then curse the ones who have lied. Call them, say, you bring your sons, we will bring our sons. You bring your women, we will bring our women. Then you bring your souls and we will bring our souls. Or, these are the translations. Or you bring your nafs, we will bring our nafs. In place of sons, the Holy Prophet took Imam Hassan and Hussein. This is in Mubahala. In place of women, the Holy Prophet took Fatima Zahra, daughter. And in the place of Anfusana, he took Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. So Ali is Nafs Rasul. If the Holy Prophet is Khatamul Anbiya, Sayyidul Mursaleen, master of all the prophets, then Ali is Nafs Rasul. He is similar, like the Holy Prophet. Nafs Rasul. In Arabic, when you go to buy something, you say, Kam hada, how much is this? They say, let's say 10 dirhams, 10 dinar. You say, what about this one? They say, Nafsu shay. Same as the other. So Nafs is, Ali is Nafs of the Holy Prophet. He is the soul of the Holy Prophet. He is the life of the Holy Prophet. He is like the Holy Prophet. It is Ali ibn Abi Talib. So the Holy Prophet is better than all the prophets and Imams. And likewise, Ali is better than all the prophets and the Imams. He is Nafs Rasul. So Ali ibn Abi Talib is Nafs Rasul. So Zamakhshari says that no one can become like Ali ibn Abi Talib till the Day of Judgment. So in this ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly says, Innama waliyukum Allah. Indeed, your wali is Allah, His messenger, and Ali is wali. That's why we say Aliyun waliyullah. Ali is the wali of Allah. He has the vilayat. He is appointed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He has vilayat from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Waliullah means the one who has vilayat from Allah. Authority from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, so there are many ayat in the Holy Quran, many verses, but this is a verse. But some have said that, others also in envious, they were jealous of Imam Ali Islam, so they also made up rings and they again started telling the people to come and take those rings from them. And, a person made a ring and he said to a beggar, he said, please come and ask for the ring and when I appoint, take it from me. So a beggar came and he took the ring and the person went to the Holy Prophet and said, Ya Rasulullah, any ayat came? He said, no ayat. So he went and told the beggar to come the next day. Some say that he took the ring back from him and he said, come again. Anyway, so he kept doing it until one day, he would ask every day the Holy Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, any ayat? And one day the Holy Prophet said, not ayat, ayat came up, ayats have come. He said, Ya Rasulullah, please tell everyone in front of, everyone, then tell me, this ayat has come for me. What is the ayat? He said, La saddaqa wa la salla, walakin kadhaba wa tawalla. This guy has not prayed. He hasn't given any sadaqah, walakin kadhaba wa tawalla. He's a liar and he is just Watawalla is basically turning away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's show off. Anyway, so do the things for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but never try and become like Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. It is not achievable. So you just to be his to be jealous of Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam is wrong, and to long for his position is also wrong. It is not achievable. Anyway, try and become a good follower of Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. So it is Ali ibn Abi Talib. This verse was revealed for Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam. Allah has blessed him with high position. But the people did not pay allegiance to him and did not accept his vilayat and imamat after the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So they turned to other people, but after the three Khulafa, they turned to Imam Ali alayhi salam. And when he became the Khalifa, he was Imam even in that time when the others were ruling. He was chosen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They couldn't take away his infallibility, his knowledge, nothing, but they took away his government, so they usurped his right. So then when they paid allegiance to him and he came into power as the ruler, He removed many of the governors and he removed the judges and he appointed his new judges, most of them, not all, and new governors. And he said, I do not wish to have the judges and the governors appointed by the previous people. So he appointed new. He removed Muawiyah from the governorship, but Muawiyah did not accept and he rebelled and he divided the Muslim government, the Muslim state. And that's when basically, clearly, people became Shias and Sunnis. Anyway, I don't want to go into that, but one of the governors he liked was the governor of Yemen. And he said, I like you very much, and send me 10 people like you that I will train who will be able to run the things after you and they will be pious. So choose the best 10 people and send them. So he chose many people, and amongst them he chose 70. And then from those 70, he chose the 10 best. And then he sent them to Kufa and said, go, I'll sponsor you and learn from Ali ibn Abi Talib. Those 10 people came to Kufa to learn from Imam Ali Islam. Imam Ali sat down and he said, okay, tell me your names and tell me who you are. And then inshallah, I'll start your training and I will, inshallah, teach you certain things. So the first one said his name, second one, third one, sixth or the seventh person said his name. He said, my name is Abdurrahman. As soon as he said Abdurrahman, Imam Ali said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Kalma istirja, when people die, you usually read this. Indeed, we are from Allah and to Him we return. In Arabic, you call it Kalma istirja. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. He recited this and the person said, what's wrong? Why did you read that? He said, what's your father's name? He said, Ana ibn Muljim. I'm the son of Muljim, Ibn Muljim. So his name was Abdurrahman and his father's name was Muljim. So he said, I am Abdurrahman ibn Muljim. Abdurrahman, son of Muljim. He said, I'm not. So as soon as he said, my father's name is Muljim, I'm son of Muljim, so I'm Ibn Muljim. Imam Ali again said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. He said, why? What's wrong? Why are you reading Kalma Istirja? Why are you repeating? He said, Muradiyun anta? Imam Ali said, are you Muradi? From Muradi Qabila? He said, yes, I am. His name was Abdurrahman ibn Muljim Muradi. So Imam Ali again said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. He said, am I going to die? Am I dying? Why are you reading this all the time? Imam Ali said, because you are my murderer. You are my assassin. You're going to kill me. He said, no, I like you. I'm your follower. I believe in you. I'm a Muslim. He said, no, you are my assassin. You are my murderer. You see, sometimes even today people say, we believe in Ali ibn Talib, but they are destroying the harams of Imam Ali's daughter. They talk about destroying the haram of Imam Ali Islam. They talk about, they are, attacking Balad, the sons and grandsons of Imam Ali Islam's harams, Samarra. Daesh, they say we are Muslims, but they do the same thing. Similar mentality. Their mentality is the same as Abdurrahman ibn Muljim. He was a Kharijite. Later on, he had declared himself to be Khariji. So he said, why are you saying this? He said, no, you are going to kill me. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has informed me and the Holy Prophet told me, you are my assassin. The Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had said, Ashqal Awwaleen, the hard-hearted person of the previous people, previous generations, was the person who cut the back of the camel, she-camel, of Hazrat Salih. Hazrat Salih had a she-camel, Naqat Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says it was, Naqa means she-camel. A she-camel sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So a person cut her back and she died. So the Holy Prophet said, amongst the previous people, the hardest-hearted person, whose heart was the hardest and he was very evil, was the murderer of the she-camel of Hazrat Salih. Wa ashqal akhareen, and the most hard-hearted person of the last of the people is the one who will assassinate Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam. And that is Abdurrahman ibn Muljim, la'anatullahi alayh. May the curse of Allah be upon him. So Imam Ali said, you are my assassin, you are going to kill me. He said, no, I'm not going to kill you. Imam Ali said, you are, and I'm warning you. Repent. Don't go down that line. He said, if you think that I'm going to kill you, then kill me now. He said, kill you for what? He said, for killing you. He said, for a sin that you haven't even done. In Islam, punishment comes after a sin, not before. You haven't killed me yet, so therefore I'm warning you now. Repent. Refrain from such thoughts. You see in previous prophets as well, in Hazrat Yahya, Nabi Yahya alayhi salam, John the Baptist. He was in the time of Hazrat Isa alayhi salam. Imam Hussain, when he was going to Karbala, he kept remembering him. He said, they killed a prophet, Yahya. The man who killed him for a prostitute, for a bad character woman. And the people said, Maulana, why are you remembering Yahya? And you see, again, Imam Hussain Islam was killed. And Imam Hussain Islam's head was carried to Damascus from Karbala to Kufa, from Kufa to Damascus, and placed in the same place where Nabi Yahya Islam's head was placed. And his head is buried in that Masjid Banu Umayyah, the court of Yazid. That's where the head of Hazrat Yahya Islam is. And Imam Hussain Islam was carried the same place. So Imam Ali Islam, again, Abdurrahman ibn Muljam, for the love of a bad character woman, Qatam, he killed Imam Ali Islam. So Imam Ali warned him day in and day out, but slowly he fell in love with this evil woman who, there are many stories, there are many details about it which I cannot go into. Al-Waqai' wal-Hawadith by Sheikh Muhammad Taqi Malbubi. Yeah, he has written this in his book. He says that Abdurrahman ibn Muljam became in love with the Qatam. She was very beautiful, and she said to him that if you, he said, I want to marry you. He said, no, if you want to marry me, then you have to give me 3 things in Mahr. He said, what are the 3 things? He said, you have to give me a slave girl. He said, yes, I'll give you that. He said, then you have to give me 5,000 gold coins. He said, okay, I'll do that as well. He said, and I want the head of Ali ibn Abi Talib. He said, no, that I cannot do. She said, then I cannot marry you. Then slowly, so she was amongst Khawarij, he was amongst Khawarij. And the story is that, when he had come, he remained in Kufa. In Siffin, he went to fight against Muawiyah, and then they split off. From Siffin, many people split off, and they are called Khawarij from Imam Ali Islam. They left Imam Ali Islam, and they are called Kharajites, people who rebelled against Imam Ali Islam. And they went to battle against Imam Ali Islam, the battle of Naharawan. Amongst the people who went to the battle of Naharawan against Imam Ali Islam was Abdurrahman ibn Muljam. Imam Ali Islam said, none of these people will live, only less than 10 will survive, and the rest will be killed. So only 7 of those survived, and one of them was Abdurrahman ibn Muljam. And then he went to Masjid al-Haram, Khana Kaaba, and he took an oath to kill Imam Ali Islam. And so Qatam was amongst the people who plotted against Imam Ali Islam. So he had, the love of Qatam lasted, and that growing in his heart, and then this evil desires, and becoming amongst Khawarij, and then he went to Kaaba. He took an oath, I'm going to kill him in a sacred night, in Laylatul Qadr, in a sacred place, Masjid al-Kufa, sacred person. You see, Daesh, ISIS, and many of the Taliban, and all of these evil people today, they do similar things. They choose holy places to kill people. In Karbala, they kill people. In Samarra, in Balad, in Husaynias, in Imam Bargas, they kill people. Masajid, they kill people. In holy events, in Friday prayers, and Jashan, Milad or Shahadat, they choose, so it's not new mentality, it is old mentality. They do those things from olden times. So he planned, and he said, okay, I'm going to kill. And then he came to Kufa. Imam Ali warned him again. But now his heart has now become so hard that he had decided that he's going to kill Imam Ali. He bought a very expensive sword to use against Imam Ali, because he said he's Asadullah, and I'm going to kill him when he's in sajda, because I can't fight him. So I'll kill him when he's sajda, I'll take his neck off. And that's what he planned. He wanted to cut Imam Ali Islam's neck. But he hit him in the head. He could not cut his neck. Because he was frightened that Ali, when he gets up from sajda, he may kill me. So he sharpened his sword himself. He was sharpening it all the time, and he asked a person to sell him a poison. He said, give me poison that is very expensive, that would kill the whole of Kufa. He said, there is nothing better than this. A very bad poison. He brought and put it in water, and he was sharpening his sword, and when you're sharpening it on stone, the metal becomes very hot, and then you put it in water to cool it down. In that water where he was going to cool down the sword, he had placed some poison, the worst poison, that would kill all of the people of Kufa. And he then placed the sword in it. So it was not only just a sword that was going to strike Imam Ali, he was going to strike Imam Ali Islam with, but also it had poison. And then he prepared himself, and then he was hiding his sword in his clothes, and he was sleeping on his chest and his tummy, hiding his sword under him. Imam Ali Islam came and woke him up. He said, it's time for Fajr. And the man, he got up and he took out his sword. Imam Ali had prayed his tahajjud in the house, and he was praying nafila of Fajr. He hadn't started the Jamaat. He was doing the nafila of Fajr. And this man, while everyone was doing nafila, he quickly came and struck Imam Ali Islam in his head. But Imam Ali salam had told his sons, all of his sons, he said, today you go and guard the gates of Kufa. They said, but it is not our turn, Baba. Our turn is another day. He said, I know it is not your turn, but you all leave. And they all knew that it is a special night. He is sending us out because for a reason. And the reason was that he wanted the sons to be away. He was waiting for the Shahadat. The Holy Quran says in Surah Ahzab, verse number 23, probably 33, Surah number 33, verse number 22 or 23 or 21. It says, Minal mu'minina rijalun. Amongst the believers are men who have made covenant with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ahadullah alayh. They have made a covenant with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Minhum man qada nahbahu. Amongst them are the ones who have fulfilled their promise. Wa minhum man yantadir. And amongst them is one who waits to fulfill his promise. When asked who are these who fulfill their promise and one who is waiting, he said the ones who fulfill their promise, Ma ahadullah alayh, are Hamza alayhi salam and Ja'far alayhi salam, the uncle and the brother of Imam alayhi salam. And وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَنْتَظِرُ, and amongst them are the ones who wait to fulfill his promise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wasalam, to give his life for the sake of Islam. So Abdurrahman ibn Muljim picked up the sword and struck him in the head. As soon as Imam Ali was struck in the head, his head ripped open. He sat down and he said, Bismillah wa billahi wa ala millati Rasulillah. Fuztu wa rabbil Ka'bah. In the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the practice of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I swear by the Lord of Kaaba, I am successful. Fuztu wa rabbil Kaaba. I have become successful. And Abdurrahman ibn Muljim had struck and he started running away quickly. Imam Ali sat down and Hazrat Jibreel started screaming in the heavens, Tahaddamat wallahi arkanul huda. Indeed, the pillars of the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have now been destroyed. Qutila ibn Rasulillah. Qutila ibn Ummi Rasulillah. The cousin of the Holy Prophet has been killed. Qutila ibn Ali al-Murtada. Qutila Ali al-Murtada. Indeed, Ali ibn Abi Talib, the son of Abu Talib, Ali has been killed. The sons of Imam Ali alayhi salam heard, and the daughters heard this, and the whole of Kufa heard this. And there was a storm that started blowing, and the son started running towards masjid and started crying. Imam Hassan came and said, Oh father, what has happened? He said, Oh son, please lead the prayers of Fajr before you take me back to the house. I cannot stand as I'm feeling weak. My blood is shedding down. Imam Hassan and Mustafa led the Fajr prayers, and then from right hand Imam Hassan picked him up, and then from left hand side Imam Hussein, and towards his feet Hazrat Muhammad Hanafiya, Hazrat Abbas and the other sons picked him up, and they started taking him to the house, and all the companions of Imam Ali Islam started crying. While he was being carried to the house, Imam Ali saw everyone cry, but he wasn't crying at all. He stood firm and he said to Imam Hassan alayhi salam, take me to the house, but tell all of my companions to leave, do not come to the house. And they said, Ya Ali, we only want to come to the house. He said, no, my daughters have heard that I have been struck. They will all be crying. I do not wish for my daughters to cry so loudly that my companions hear. So please leave, because my daughters are now crying. And when they were carrying Imam Ali alayhi salam to his house, when he reached the door, he said, oh Hassan, please place me on the ground. I do not wish to be carried by my sons on their hands to my house, where my daughters see me being carried by my sons. My daughters will not be able to bear the pain of seeing their father being carried by his sons. So they stood him up, and as soon as they picked him up and held him, they opened the door, and Imam Ali al-Islam so far had not been crying, but as soon as he reached the house, he saw that his daughters are crying loudly. Imam Ali al-Islam started crying when he saw his daughters. He could not bear the pain of seeing his daughters cry loudly. Oh Maula, you couldn't see the pain of your daughters when they were crying. Maula, come and see your daughters in Kufa when they were brought after your sons were killed in Karbala. When they were coming to Kufa, the people of Kufa were throwing stones at them and hitting them with chains and shackles. Maula, when they were coming to Kufa, they were crying, how would you bear the pain of seeing your daughters? ألا لعنة الله على القوم الظالمين وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون.